Hello, Slothrin and adult fans of Lego. It's time for another episode of Sloth City. And what is happening in Sloth City today, you may ask? And that is a fine question. Today, we are having Election Day in Sloth City. And the Election Day is going on at our brand new government building that Raymond, our contractor, got done just in time for us to have this election. And we are having an election for mayor. And that's not something that we had originally planned to do. Originally, we had just figured that the City Planning Commission could appoint someone as mayor if we needed a mayor. But the City Planning Commission said no. We have this fine city with these fine citizens. Our fine citizens should vote and should choose the mayoral candidate that they think would make the best mayor. So we put out the word to the citizens of Sloth City. And after some talk, 3 candidates put their names into the hat as mayoral candidates. So let's meet them. First, we have Hades. You may remember Hades from Greek mythology and from a Disney musical cartoon feature thing. Next, we have Unlicensed Creature from the Poorly Lit Water feature. And lastly, we have Douglas, our hot dog vendor. So those are our 3 candidates. They are here to meet the citizens who have any questions for them or want to know their positions and what they plan to do as mayor of Sloth City if elected. But they have to stay out here. They cannot go into the government building and influence people. That's why they have to be out here. But if we look here, we can see all these fine citizens of Sloth City lining up to partake in the responsibilities of citizenship by casting their votes for mayor. And if we come all the way around here, we can see some of the citizens who have already voted and are leaving the government building by the back door because, as you know, I always include lots of doors so that nobody is ever trapped in a building in case it catches fire. So we have a front door, we have a back door. But let's go ahead and take a look inside and see what's going on. So, if we look in here, you can see that currently things are arranged for Election Day and not for government functions. And that's not just because we needed it for Election Day. It's because I don't actually know what goes on in government buildings, and I have no idea what sort of furnishings a government building should have. I don't know what government furnishings are. So what we have are our voting day personnel. They are here to look people up as they come in and they, get ready to vote. If they don't recognize them, they have these books prepared that have listed all of the citizens of Sloth City, and they can compare whoever comes into the lists. And if they are not, in fact, Sloth City citizens and are trying to throw the election by stuffing the ballot box with non-citizen votes, they are here to ensure that that doesn't happen. So, we are providing great professionalism in the Sloth City election. Now let's move on to where the voting is going on, here on the second floor. And if you look in here, you can see we have 2 more people who have been appointed to monitor all of the voting and make sure that nobody is doing anything irresponsible, like, again, stuffing our ballot boxes. See our fine, easy to spot, brightly colored ballot boxes with the ballots in them. They have spare ballots there in case anybody has lost theirs. And then over here, we have a table set up with voting stations and little barriers like you might find study carrels in a library or a university setting, so that people can fill out their ballots without people glancing over and being able to see what they are writing down. Because Sloth City isn't very high-tech with their ballots. They simply have a write-in system. People write down the name of their candidates and then put their ballots into the box. So that is what is going on in the election room, the voting room. And then lastly, we have the police department, which previously had its own building but got absorbed by our government building. But they still have plenty of space. Here, if we look through the window, we can see 2 of the officers. They are staying indoors, out of sight, because they do not want any of their fair citizens to think that they are trying to intimidate or influence the vote or suggest that there would be any reprisals for anybody who is voting in a way different from perhaps our officers voted. They already cast their votes. Cast? They already voted. And so they are just manning the police station in case there is an emergency. They are here, but otherwise they are being low profile. But while we're here, let's take a look at their fine new police department. It is smaller, but it has all of the necessities, and indeed it is more functional than it was before, because now our police department actually has a functional jail cell with a door. They have that nice holding cell. It is much smaller than what they had before, but it is more functional because it has a door, and it did not have a door before. It still has windows, but they are up high where they cannot just, like converse with people or admire the view. Those are just for ventilation, but they are still security. They are barred. But that is the holding cell. And then we have these other nice windows, all of these lovely vintage windows. And there's the door to go into the police department and the little balcony area. And up here, we still have a helipad, but now there's a good reason for it because this is a government building. There are all kinds of government people or diplomats or anybody like that who might actually have a reason to be up on top of the government building in a helicopter. And that would not be the police department, because the police department does not have a helicopter. They don't have any sort of vehicles at all other than that one scooter at this moment. But that's okay. It reminds them that they are citizens and public servants and not oppressive regime, paramilitary, militia type people. Yeah. So, anyway, thank you for coming to this update and this fine election day here in Sloth City. Join us for another episode of Sloth City, where we will have our election results and whatever else is going on new and exciting in Sloth City. And I hope that you have a very good day. I hope that if it is an election day for you, that the election goes the way that you want it, and that your people, if you have people who might be threatened by a certain political party who is interested in curtailing their rights, I hope that that political party does not win and does not remain in office to abuse their powers. I hope that the end of the day shows us a new government that will be more enlightened and less oppressive and less inclined to curtail freedoms. But rest assured that in Sloth City, we will have a good election because all of our candidates are fine candidates and none of them are oppressive, evil regime. So whoever we have as mayor here will be a fine mayor, and we will be able to be proud of our fair city. And I hope that soon we will be able to be proud of our government, even if we are not living in Sloth City, because let's admit it, it's kind of hard to stay that small. So that is my wish for you and for me and for all of us, that all of us will perhaps achieve more freedoms and not less this day. And with that statement and with that wish, I will leave you, and you have a good day.